Hello, welcome to episode 8 of B Movie Dreamer. I'm your host, Paul, and it's been a while. I think our last episode, number 7, was in October of 2020. There's been a few things going on, and I'll get to that in a moment. First, I wanted to thank my cousins Gary and Greg for being in the last episode for our Q&A session. And I also wanted to give a shout out to my friend Kurt, who has been coming over and will continue to come over and help me with any of the tasks at all that we have to cover to do. So I really appreciate that, and I appreciate him, and I appreciate my cousins, and I appreciate you guys coming back for another episode. In this 8th episode, I'm calling it our special effects episode, primarily of The Depths of Destruction, our very first movie. Now, where have I been? What's been going on? I did write a lot of notes just because I have a lot to tell you today. But first of all, what's been happening? Well, first of all, I was trying to knock out that script, and I'll mention that just in a couple of minutes. But the biggest problem I had was the computer. My computer of many years finally gave out, and I was out of luck. So I had to put money aside and try to save the best I could and purchase a new computer. Without it, I can't do any of the editing, so the filming just didn't seem like it made any sense, so just had to wait for that. And finally, after months of saving and a few Christmas gifts perhaps, I was able to get back on track now. And once again, and I hate to belabor this, but this is why I miss Super 8. You know, I know it's old, I'm old. Super 8 was just great. You picked up a cartridge and you put it in a cartridge of film, and you shot your footage, and then you sent it to the lab in about a week. You got a call, you went and got it, and you looked at it and see if it came out. And then you did whatever you wanted to change. You just took the film physically with your hands, and you put it in an editing machine to see what you were doing, and you just could physically cut it. And it would just cut with a device that had like a razor sharp blade on it. And then there was certain editing tape you used, and you just taped it. And you know what? Doing everything by hand was terrific. And you know how much I really just have a difficulty and really can't stand the computer. But so I called that computer down. And that's pretty much what happened. Let's see. So in my notes, I have lots to tell you. Let's see, where am I at here? Also, another, and this is a big thing, we're going to be relocating my studio, and I'm going to get just a little bit more space. Not a lot, but a little. So it's been kind of crazy around here. We've been doing some packing and just trying to figure out what to do with everything and during the transit, and then of course I have to set up. So that's been a thing. So what else do I have to tell you? Let's talk about the movie that I'm in the middle of. It's Space Spider, and this is what, of course, we're working on. And if you've seen the episodes, you've seen the progress that we're trying to make. And so what can I tell you about the progress? Well, I'm gonna show you some slides. Let me do that to you. Let me do that right now. Okay, so in the slide you're about to see is of a helmet. Now it's one of those prime helmets where it's kind of goes back to the 50s of what we thought of sci-fi and the big bubble kind of round helmet where you could see the person's face, and it's kind of like that. So we thought that would be perfect for a B movie, and I'm going to show you a slide of that. And then there's another special helmet that looks a lot different, and that's going to be for a special person in the movie, and there's a couple of slides with that. So let me show you that right now. Okay, so that was the helmets. Just a brief little thing I showed you there. I put the skull in for not only effect, but just to show you, exactly, how the head's going to look. I mean, it'll look more alive than that, but that's how that will look. Two big things. The script is finally finished. I had to power through that, but I like how it turned out. Hopefully you will too once once everything gets made, which is not going to be next week. It's going to take me a little longer, but than that. But no, the script is finished, and you really do need a finished script. And just about every part in the movie is also cast, so that's good. According to my notes, yes, there was another big change. Location. Now I'm still looking for my location, and it's a particular location. It needs to be a wooded site, and I need to have control over the wooded site. Now, I may have told you that before, and I told you, I believe, that most of this movie is going to take place at night in the woods. Well, that has changed. Now, most of the movie, except for perhaps naturally the space shots, it will take place in the woods, but it will also take place during the day. So there's a lot of reasons for that, and changes happen, and I'm sure there will be more changes along the way. So that's pretty much an update on Space Spider, and now I think I'm going to show you some more slides. We're going to do the special effect edition of a few scenes from Depths of Destruction, which is our first short movie. It was the 23-minute movie. You have seen some things before, so let's get right to it. Let me check my notes here. Okay, so we're going to show you the first slide, so to speak, that you will see. It's the poster slide. Now, I showed you the poster before, and I just wanted to show you this again real quick so you can get an idea of what it's like, or maybe you haven't seen it before. So I'll give you an idea of what that was like. An artist friend had done this, and here is the first slide. Okay, well, that's the poster. That was quick, and the next picture you're going to see is it's like about 5 seconds of the beginning of the movie Depths of Destruction. Now, because we purposely want to do B movies, and we do B movies also because we have no money or very limited money. And we use friends and relatives as actors, and I'm an amateur, and that's the whole reason for this channel, is to show you what I do, making film-wise as a complete amateur. And so this next picture you're going to see is it's the title opening shot of the movie, where you get your title, and then credits will begin to roll after that. But there's a couple of ways that films have done this over the years, and we wanted to do one of our films, so we chose the first one to do a very basic method, and that is you just pick one single image in the film, and you just leave that image on there. Nothing moves except the title comes up, and then after that you would see the credits. So yeah, why don't we take a look at that. Okay, so our next shot that you'll see we needed, we had a monster in this film, and that's been talked about before, and we needed just the fin of the back of the monster to just break the water. And this was quite interesting, because in order to do that, we needed to figure out the best way. We actually used a local river. It's a small river, body of water. But what we did was we got a volunteer to put on some scuba equipment, and it took, after we made the actual fin, it took about an hour of him in the water trying to make this just pop up a little bit and kind of curve over and go into the water. And again, it's like a 7-8 second shot, maybe even less. But it took us an hour to do that. And sometimes these things, that's what happens. That's how it takes. But go ahead and take a look at this. Okay, next. The next is what we call a propeller shot. Now, the propeller shot is interesting because a lot of people, when in a movie where there's maybe it's a boat and you're seeing an underwater shot of the propeller, or possibly a submarine, the craft will turn on and the propeller will spin and bubbles will come out and you're off to your next shot. Well, so we just didn't have like a motor that we could just grab and use, and it was supposed to be the propeller for the back of the mini sub that the two men were in the movie. So what we did was we were able to get a fan blade, and we attached it to something, and we actually put it in the water. But then what we did was, because we really couldn't turn it while it was in the water, being no motor, what we did was we just used bubbles that came from the bottom of the tank near the propeller, which came up and filled the screen. And it kind of does really work out, especially if I didn't tell you these things, it would work out much better, because your mind is so accustomed to seeing a TV show or movie the professional way to do it, with just starting the motor up, that your mind just thinks right off, you know what, okay, they started the ship, we knew they started the ship, and they showed a shot of the propeller, and we knew that the propeller started to go. When in actuality, it really didn't. And you'll see that if you look hard enough. But so let's take a look at that. Okay, the next shot you will see is, we, of course, had a few different submarines that we built. They're like mini subs for people, very small craft supposedly, and we did make all of our models from scratch, although like many people do in the professional industry, we figured we'd follow suit, and we did some kit bashing as well. And I think I went over kit bashing, you know, before, where basically you just take different parts of different real models, and you can add them to your model, change them a little bit. You can do some things, but they give you some real detail. So this shot is just a quick shot of one of the subs that was originally on the surface, and it's basically just submerging into the river. Okay, here we go with that. Okay, well, the next shot, this took place in this giant cavern lake of water, and we had, you know, obviously the landscape on the bottom of the sea floor, well, the river floor, and so we made this up, and I just leave it to your imagination for now. And I'll show you this. This is from the viewpoint of the men in the sub as they are traveling along the bottom of the lake. And there's actually two different shots on this one. So let me show you those. Okay, on this next shot, we have the model sub that actually submerged, and we have that traveling along under the water, and we have the bubbles coming out the back. Now, this was the first time we ever tried blue screen, like ever, and so we were new at it, and we did the best we could, and we call this shot the Land of the Lost shot. Now, if any of you are old enough to remember the TV show on Saturday mornings, a live action TV show by Sid and Marty Krofft called Land of the Lost, they had a lot of stop motion and different effects like that. And they were a little on the primitive side, but it was a really fun show. And it's quite the classic, even though it's technically, for kids, and we were kids when it came out, so it worked out just great. But so the first shot, you'll see the sub as it's traveling along in the lake, in the caverns, and then you'll see another sub, the bad guy sub, following behind them, secretly. So here we go with those two shots. Okay, now this is just a quick little shot. There was many different shots. We'll just show you one quick little shot. The monster had gotten aboard the submarine, and the monster was just going through the ship and tearing it up. And this is just a quick shot of one of its hands just smashing up whatever it could. And here's that shot now. Okay, not to give anything away, but in this next shot, there were two brothers, and they are the good guys. And in this particular shot, the one is not doing so well. He's bleeding from the mouth, and he's got no other course of action to take except to blow himself up in the ship. So he's going to remotely blow the TNT that you'll see, sitting on there. So take a look at that. Okay, now we thought we would just follow this up. I guess this is kind of ruining the movie if you haven't seen it, but we wanted to show you. This was one of our most creative shots. We really enjoyed doing this, figuring this shot out, and it's what happens to the sub immediately after the last shot you just saw of the brother setting off or detonating the explosives. So take a look at that. Okay, now in this next shot, I believe it's the bad guy ship, and it's hovering in the water in the caverns, and it's just a nice quick little shot. Again, another Land of the Lost shot, not moving though, but just doing its thing. Just something I wanted to throw in there to show you. Here we go. No! Okay, and our last shot for the special effect edition show of Depths of Destruction, we're going to show the other brother, and he's going to there's an underwater hatch inside of your sub, where if you can think of, if you've ever seen say Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, or perhaps some other movies or TV shows like that, where there's a hatch and it lifts up this way, you're inside, and if you know anything about how water reacts and things like that, water, like the water from the ocean, doesn't just come gushing in and drown everybody in their ship. It opens up into water, and then the guy can put on his gear and hop into the water and go outside. So that is what he starts to do, and then he gets interrupted in this particular special effects shot. So go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, well, that is all of our shots that we're going to show you from the depths of destruction. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed the episode in general. So before I say farewell, next episode, episode 9. Let me take a look at my notes here. What were we talking about here? We're actually going to do another special effects edition, but we're going to take shots from our second film, which was 48 minutes long, called Die Snapper Die. I've talked about that before, but we're going to show you some special effects shots there. And I think, I'm going to try to give you more updates on Space Spider as I will continue to work on that. And we'll see what else happens. Maybe Luna the robot will be in next one too. We'll have to see what kind of shape she is in. So anyway, I wanted to thank you for watching, and thank you for coming back and putting up with the long wait, and I hope to see you next time real soon. Thanks a lot, and have a great day. Bye.